Now, it's been a while since I've done an actual, I think, chat like this, and I'll try not wrap it on too long due to the fact I have got my shopping coming. Hubby left at 6:10. It is about 6:30 now by the looks of it, and do excuse any noise in the background because I know our son's alarm will be going off soon. So yeah, and it normally goes off about 2 or 3 times. It goes off earlier than what he needs to get up because he likes to slowly wake up and things like that. It's just him. Again, I know I keep apologising about the comments, and I think what I'm going to have to do is give you a heart so you know that I've actually read the comment and seen the comment, rather than, you know, I do that then I answer it, if you know what I mean. I have got quite a long list, not here now. Yeah, I'm doing it on the fly here, and I've always said this: what you see is what you get. I haven't been totally at my best for quite some time now. Before anybody starts saying, oh, I hope you feel better, and I do appreciate the support and the best wishes. It's just, I would say, not a slump, but I'm slow moving. I've had a number of appointments, so as I said, it might be, my videos might be a bit hicklety-picklety, probably lack of sleep as well. I did put lipstick on, and before anybody says or think that I'm still in my pyjamas, I am dressed. I have got my lounge Disney top on for my lounge set, but I have got my leggings, I've got my fluffy socks on, because I say I've got my food shop coming from Asda between 7 and 8. So I thought I'd get dressed as soon as hubby left. You know, just because I don't necessarily want to answer the door in my pyjamas or even my lounge set. But yeah, so I am sort of dressed because I couldn't get Iceland for when I wanted it, so I've got Astra again. My videos are slightly late, I'm sorry about that. This might actually jump the queue. I might incorporate this actually today, just to fill you in, so it might jump the queue. I think I'm going to have 2 food hauls near enough, one after the other, because I've got last week's as well. I do apologise about that. We did go to the caravan, didn't do a Halloween bash or anything this year. We just went away, had the swim spa, and we treated our son to that weekend as well, and paid for that, and we had a KFC and everything like that. So going off topic, so I just want to fill you in what's happening. And I do apologise if it's too early to talk about Christmas, but that will come up quite a lot now. We're in November, and my planner video, I have done it, will be going up probably after this one. And I mentioned that I know a lot of people are not interested in planning, but sometimes I do natter through it, and especially if something's particularly happening that month. So it's obviously coming up to preparations for Christmas, so even if you're not into planner, you know, maybe you'll check it out. It might give you some ideas, because this is the month that I really try and knuckle down to get prepared for Christmas. I have a lot going on at Christmas, except obviously, dare I say it, things were cancelled obviously for 2 years, and I had big plans for last year. Was it last year? It must have been, was it last year? I'm losing track now. And Christmas was sort of cancelled. You could have visitors on Christmas Day, but the families that I'd agreed to have come to us already had arrangements for Christmas Day. And let's face it, hubby doesn't like going out Christmas Day, nor does her son. They work long hours, so they don't like going out Christmas Day. So we always have plans Christmas Eve. I've tried to do a little buffet. I've done some big ones. I did a big one for my hubby's 40th. I had surprise guests come from previous places he worked and everything, and I did keep, that was a really big bash. I remember, because we had it here, because I wanted it to be a surprise, and when the door kept going, and it's like his ex-boss came, and we had all the neighbours, we had friends, family and things like that. I had people sitting at my stairs and everything, and I did apologise because you normally have it, and luckily I over prepared for it, and I had lots of food. And what I did was I had boxes under my dining room table because I had a big tablecloth on where I could open things like crisps, extra cakes, mince pies, things like that, because I had guests turning up, as you probably know that didn't reply. And I had a couple of families of 4 or 5, so there was like 10 extra people. But luckily I'd over prepared because I'd like to do it lunchtime, dare I say it, not shove them out the door early. But then we got that sort of stuff for tea or supper on Christmas Eve. If in the past, as I said, when we've done the bashes, especially that 40th, because we start making preparations Christmas Eve normally, although it's hubby's birthday, to get things done like preparing the veg, the potatoes, things like that, preparing the turkey, because we always had an extra large turkey. This brings me on to a couple of comments. One of them, I have not mentioned any names because I'm not sure if you want your names mentioned, but I know one was like, reasonable costing meals, and that is but still at the back of my mind. I'm working out how to do this, maybe a bit of meal planning, really thinking, but I will have to do. I've got the first alarm going off for us. I don't think you can hear that, but yeah, costing maybe meals. Maybe I can do, combine it and do maybe a week this month of meals like I've done, in the past. But maybe I could incorporate maybe costing for the 3 of us, and then obviously I can say the costing of 1 plate. Maybe the person, if she's watching this, can comment down below how she wants to see this video unfolding, because I'm not sure if she wants it as a family or maybe a costing of 1 plate. And this goes on to, yes, I know sometimes the plates are piled high. My guys don't tend to eat a lot during the day. They have their pack up and everything, but very often, especially our son, doesn't get sometimes proper breaks if he's rushed off his feet, so it's sort of easy foods to grab. They both have sandwiches, so their plates, they're both night eaters actually, do tend to be quite high. So maybe, my plate tends to be smaller, and it is a smaller plate anyway because I'm trying to watch my weight. Again, health issues about weight. Yeah, I've sort of a sort of slump, not slump, but stopped losing the weight again, but I keep moving everything, even if I'm feeling not 100%, even if it's walking around our home. You're watching our videos, I can walk from my lounge, front, kitchen, dining room, back doorway and back lounge, so I can do my circuits even if I don't feel 100% to go outside. Like I said, it's not down to actually feeling really ill at times, it's just feeling a little bit off. So going back to this meal planning, I might do a bit of meal planning. I will do that anyway at Christmas. I'll try and see what I can actually share with you. But the costing, I don't know whether this person wants me to do it costing as I would cost it for a family. Do you know what I mean? Because some meals might be a little bit more expensive, depending on if I have requests from the guys. Normally, whatever I put in front of them, they'll eat. I try and alternate between what they both like because they got their favourites. So I alternate that. A lot of repeats. I do apologise about that. But I know what they will eat. I keep saying I wanted to change it up and start some different menus and do some more bacon and things like that. But it's always at the back of my mind, unless it's, most of the ingredients is what they will eat. I don't know if anybody else feels like this. I've done it before. I've put all the ingredients, tried to go out the box, spent ages preparing it, ages cooking it, and then they've ate it, but they didn't enjoy it. So things like that. So there is the meal aspect, especially as costing's gone a lot up. I've started having a lot of shop brands again. This normally happens in January after following Christmas, because you watch the pennies and everything, especially the expense over Christmas, which I tend to spread anyway, leading up to Christmas. But with the cost of everything going up, I'm trying a lot of the essential range from Asda, and I got a lot coming today in essential range. I might do a haul, I'm not sure, because I still haven't uploaded last week's, because our granddaughter was here and I've kept putting it off and off and off, and I wanted to get the Halloween videos up, as you can see. So there is the meal aspect, and I share my meals, and maybe I'll do a costing on that. The other thing that has been on my list for so long, and again I apologise to this person, is about buffets and parties and buffet food. When this comment came up, I don't know if it was Christmas, or I was planning to do a Christmas sort of planning for a buffet and showing the food and try and keep it on budget and things like that, preparations, because I was going to do a Grinch party for hubby's birthday. As you know, hubby's birthday is Christmas Eve. I intend to have family around, but it all got cancelled, so that went off the sideline. I think this comment was maybe a year ago, I like to say. It's still on my list. I'm hoping, I don't know, to do it maybe for Christmas Eve, maybe, buffet food. Whether that's too late for a lot of people, I don't know, or this person, but you will see things probably. Sorry, I knocked my cable to my mic then. But things will be coming up in my shopping anyway, and I know I've got tubs of the chocolates, I think it's Celebration, I ordered from Asda today, so those sort of things will come through. If anybody's interested, I will try and sort of plan. I'm sort of putting the feelers out to see if family available, because if I remember rightly, Christmas Eve is on a Saturday, so work, except for our son works Saturdays, so hopefully he'll finish early, but I tend to do it lunchtime. So again, there's the meals I want to sort out, costing, also buffet food ideas and everything. Sometimes I get those platters that I did this I think last year. I had family members turn up late, and I've already served some food up, but I had to keep it in the oven, things like that. Little miniature things. I tell you what I really did like, and I don't know if they're doing it again, they did little mini cones with chips and I think it was like fish, like nuggets and things like that, if I remember rightly, and it come in a cardboard cone, if I remember rightly. It looked like newspaper, and my family absolutely loved that. And I did a lot of, instead of actually having it on the table or the breakfast bar, as I served things up, we had a lot of the platters, because obviously my oven, I had my air fryer going, you know what I mean? I don't think I had my microwave going, but yeah, I had like 3 trays revolving in my oven. I had my air fryer on, and we tried a lot of the different platters. I had like an Indian platter, I think it was a Chinese platter. I had the British like fish and chip type platter that had the cones and things like that, and finished up with like Christmas log, mince pies and things like that. But I think you generally get the idea. So sort of incorporating some of those platters. I haven't really researched it at the moment. I probably would have had one this week, but I couldn't get the slot I wanted, so that didn't happen. So I do apologise. I wanted to get that started, and this week, but there you are. Do apologise, it is early. I did put lipstick on, although I am a morning person, I'm struggling. not badly. Do you know what I mean? I want to keep it upbeat. I will tell you when I, have a bad time or something. Sometimes I don't always go on camera, as you probably will, and it depends how I look on the day. But most of the time, even now, my hair's probably sticking up. I did brush it. I have washed, dressed, and everything. So yeah, and I was sort of ready at about 6:20. So so going back, costing and meals, planning for Christmas, hopefully buffet preparations that probably come up maybe when I'm doing my hauls as well. I want to do a few reasonable gift ideas. I like doing mugs with either hot chocolate, coffee, tea bags, things like that, candy cane, marshmallows. You've seen them all over YouTube. I will say, and hubby knows this, sort of the first weekend in December our tree goes up, because it takes it used to take half a day, a good 4 or 5 hours to put it up. We have got another tree. We've had this one a good many years, so it is a lot quicker. But our previous one, you had to slot all the branches in. This one sort of is in, I think, is it 2 or 3 sections? It is a 7-foot tree. I think it's a 7-foot tree. So I don't know if it's in 2 or 3 sections. My mind, another alarm's gone off, so my son will be getting up soon. So you put it in, and it basically whoosh, whoosh, do you know what I mean? It just sort of falls, and you just have to sort of, you know what I mean? Sort of just, what's the word? Fluff it up. Yes. So through December, definitely there'll be a lot of Christmas videos. This is going on to, and I'm not knocking them because I'm watching them as well. I know some YouTubers, especially American ones, and I'm not knocking you if you're American and watching this, because I know you do more, I think, coming up, don't you, this month, and put your trees up early. The ruling in our house, it doesn't go up before the 1st December. I think the latest I've had it was when I was really ill through Christmas. I think it went up like a week. I think it was about a week before Christmas, and the guys just put the tree up. That's when I was off work. I lost the use of my right arm and hand. At first they thought I'd had a stroke. I was then, as I was having painkillers and everything, and I was off work for 3 months, and that was through Christmas as well. I remember because it was a bad time for me, and I know I shouldn't sort of dwell on the negative, but I remember sitting in the bathroom, on the bathroom floor, sobbing Christmas morning, because I felt that bad and ill and everything. And I think, and I admit it, I didn't necessarily have a breakdown. I had medication for anxiety that was really bad at the time as well. On top of that, I had work bugging me about because they were short over Christmas, but I couldn't work. I've been signed off, and our GP had words with them. As you know, I was made redundant. We did have a number of clients, and this is where the preparations for Christmas. We at one time at our highest, we had 27 clients. I was a carer for 15 years before I was made redundant, and our children, our boys, were young at the time. They were both at school. Our youngest still believing in Christmas at the time. So maybe, if you've got kids now, it might be a good idea. Maybe I should have put that at the beginning of the video in case there's something there. I know in the past I've had comments, and I know some family and friends have said they've had their kids sort of sitting with them watching my videos. So maybe if you've got young kids, maybe not watch this. I'll try and put a disclaimer at the start maybe. And I had preparation, and I loved Christmas. I still do, but I was trying to remember. It's been, I'd say, 22 years. So I had a lot more energy. I didn't have medical problems. I wasn't, especially at this point, I wasn't diabetic. I didn't have my back problems and all the sort of issues I've now. So I used to whiz round, and yeah, you know, I don't know how many Christmas trees I used to put up. I used to organise Christmas activities for the residents and things like that. Party, you know, things, anything like that. Aside doing my own, and I think going back 20 plus years, I was more organised with young children, working and keeping a household, you know, because I know you, if you're watching this, you're probably in that boat now. But I didn't have the issues, and I'm a lot older now, and I'm struggling a little bit. You know, things just take twice as long. I try and keep my brain occupied as well. As you know, I don't work, luckily at the moment, haven't for some time now. But I was more organised there, and you know, with work, and I was doing a lot of extra hours because I went out on, did I say the pantomime? I went out Christmas shopping for the guys, the residents, you know, and sometimes it wasn't just because I had my own resident as well that I looked after, aside others. You're always a key worker for a particular client to help them, you know, with you know, anything like phone calls, letter writing, anything like that, their shopping needs, you know, checking they're okay. But you also work with all the other clients, but everybody was a key worker for a client. So some had I never did, because I'm not knocking it or anything. I was on the ball at the time, do you know what I mean? I whizzed around everything, and I still had to decorate my own home, keep upbeat. I can remember a couple of times being on lates, which started, I remember going to work at 5 o'clock in the evening and not getting back to midnight, say on Christmas Day. That's after entertaining and being with my kids. I preferred it in a way, I preferred it on the lates at the time, because I was there for my boys, to open the Christmas gifts and everything like that. So, but it used to be a long sort of day, because sometimes I didn't leave work till midnight, and then I used to have to get up at 5 o'clock if I was on an early the next day, like Boxing Day, because especially weekends, if it happened to be at a weekend, used to do a late and an early, or an early and a late, if you know what I mean. And then the third weekend you have totally off. So yeah, you only had one weekend off in 3. So I used to have to wait every 3 weeks to have 2 days off together. That was the only thing. And because I lived so close to work, I could be in work if I was dressed and everything within 5 minutes, basically getting out my front door. That's how close, especially when the weather was bad. But I'm going off topic here. I've still got Halloween decor up. I've got my pumpkin mug. I do like my Halloween mugs, but I do find them quite large, and the guys have been still having those in the evenings when they come home from work. That's just right, especially if I'm moving around, and I love these. And I got the cauldron as well. These were £1.50 from Poundland, and I thought that was really good. I really was at the back of my mind whether I should have bought the Hocus Pocus mugs from Poundland, but they were, I thought £4 wasn't too bad, but I think they were about that size, so they weren't that big. But £8 for 2 mugs on a budget, when I've got a lot of mugs, when I could buy things like that, and the cauldron for £1.50, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I do love Hocus Pocus, and we did watch Hocus Pocus over Halloween, and I do apologise because I did start videoing through Halloween and it didn't get uploaded, so I don't think I'm going to bother now because it's too late. Even my planner's going up late. Oh God, my knee cracked. But I videoed it and haven't just edited it and everything. But the Halloween one, through the day, I think I'm just going to leave that one now. That's gone on the back burner, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think it was also the fact that I had a granddaughter half-term week, And what else? Oh yeah, then we went away for the weekend and had swim spa, as I said, so I didn't do Halloween party bash, but I'm hoping to do Christmas Eve this year. I said I'm just putting the feelers out to family and friends. Mostly I think I might cut it down to just family and just have a small do. Hubby doesn't want, he doesn't mind family around, but I don't think he wants it going on all day, which has happened before. And dare I say, we have sort of kindly, and hope you don't take this the wrong way, kindly had to drop hints and then serious hints on occasions to get family to leave our home so we could relax. I remember one year, Christmas time, I'm sure I said this, I was working till 2, I was on early, so it must have been a weekend, so I had about 6 till 2 I think it was, and hubby, from quite while I started work, sorry I get my words out, I've just had a message from Asta, I think it's on its way actually, sorry, because I film on my phone. I haven't, except for the GoPro when we're out and about, I tend to use my phone. What was I saying? Yeah, blank moment there, got sidetracked. Yes, Christmas, I was at work and we invited, it was the one, I think we've only done it once, where I had my parents, hubby's parents, both our sons, because this was they were quite younger then. But hubby, from when I started work, he cooks Christmas dinner, especially as I used to be working. But most of the time, as they got older, I was tend to be on an early. Because if it was during, say, Monday to Friday, it would definitely be on an early. Because I transferred over from lates to earlys when they were teenagers, because I could trust them to go to school, if you know what I'm talking about. And then I could go to work. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd have to leave them to go off to. I think my at that stage, I think my youngest was at maybe his last year of school and my eldest was in college, something like that. So they weren't young, they were teenagers. I think my eldest was probably, must have been 17 or 18 or something at the time. So yeah, I made sure, because I did have a trial, because I was always on late, working till 11 till midnight, and then I would have to get up early to get them, you know, because alarms would be going off to get them to school and college. But then when they were that much older, I did actually transfer to early, although I had to do a late at weekends, and I loved that, although I never got off on time. But I got paid the extra hours anyway. But that's going off topic. But what I'm saying is that planning came from quite an early time, because I did start back to work when both my kids were at school, and I worked at the time evenings, so it'd been, like say, late, so sometimes I had to work till to midnight, 1 o'clock, especially when night duty were late in. But I always said I could not do a night duty. I could do a late, which was my hours, but I couldn't do a full night because I had to get up, and I said I wouldn't get much sleep anyway. And I always wanted to be available for holidays, sickness and everything. So it was evenings and weekends. So I think I was more organised when I had more on my plate back then than I do now. And every time it comes up to Christmas, I try and stay organised, but I feel as though it's coming at me quite a bit. Dare I say, with COVID and everything, the guys actually liked it in a way. I know it sounds awful, because they could switch off and not entertain. I love entertaining, but again, it drains me quite a bit. Maybe they always say I go overboard anyway, because when we have a do, we have buffet food, we have activities, we might have a movie, do you know what I mean? So I'm on the go constantly, especially having a lunchtime do when I'm expecting people, especially family coming maybe a bit earlier, about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and then we try and shove everybody out by 4 o'clock, especially if it's Christmas Eve. So yeah, this video, I do apologise, it's going to and I think I'm going to cut it short now, because I think, unless I edit anything out, it's about 30 minutes long. So I do apologise if I stutter or I start a conversation. You might realise this, then I think of something else in my head and think I'll go on to that next, then I jump to something and then I haven't finished the previous conversation. So I try to keep it at the back of my mind. I've got no notes in front of me. I said, as you, what you see is what you get, but I just wanted to fill you in. Yeah, winter, you know, taking care of the winter blues, hopefully. I've said this before, doing these videos, yes, most of the time, except for occasional one I didn't upload yesterday, admittedly, keeps me grounded. It keeps me getting things done. And I know you're sick of hearing me saying basics and things like that, but I think if I wasn't doing YouTube, I could easily, I think, sit on the sofa reading a book. I could lose myself in a book easily, or movie or a series, you know, especially one of these binge watching. I try and get everything done before I put it on. There is a couple that I might actually do a review on, because I haven't done one of those for ages, about, you know, sort of television watching and things like. We don't tend to watch a lot of other channels. Yeah, we do pay a TV license, and it's got on my list. I always get the TV Guide as soon as they come out in the stores. You used to get it from Tesco's, the Christmas one, Christmas and New Year, because that's the one TV magazine I get, because I like highlighting everything, because we don't tend to watch the BBC, Anglia and all those sort of things, due to the fact, ITV, I'm showing my age, sorry, ITV, put my hands up, I still think of it as Anglia, ITV. But I do like to see if there's any shows or something, do you know what I mean? I don't think they tend to do the pantomime very often now, and I know it's to do with cruelty to animals, and I understand that, but I do miss, and I don't know if anybody else remembers this, a tradition used to be, I always used to watch the circus on Boxing Day. I'm sure it used to be Boxing Day, the circus, and it's a shame they don't do that without the animals, do you know what I mean? It used to be a family tradition, sit down, I had my grandparents, I had my parents, my brother, there was me, and we always used to watch the circus. Another thing used to be, and one year I did send all the DVDs to everybody, was The Wizard of Oz. It was the one movie, when I was little, although I used to be scared of the witch, The Wizard of Oz used to be the one movie tradition that I used to be quiet and everybody else could go to sleep. The grandparents used to go to sleep. Every year, Wizard of Oz. So it used to be The Wizard of Oz. We used to watch the circus, and they always had a pantomime on as well with you know, celebrities and things like that. So that's the sort of thing. So, you know, if you hear of anything, if you think of this, you know, just drop me something. You know, I know it's a bit early now, but you know, any recommendations when it gets closer, I might bring this up again, because I quite like the specials. It seems to go ages before I check the planner for the Virgin, because a lot of the shows that I liked stopped again because of COVID and everything. Death in Paradise is one of the ones that I used to like, and we keep checking back, you know, and some of the series now are completely finished, so there's no more things like that. I used to like Jonathan Creek. I think there's like a, you know, Murder, She Wrote. I will have to put this in a separate video, I think, because I've had this conversation before. You know, I am, dare I say it, a television buff. And it depends what mood I'm in, do you know what I mean? And I have to be careful of certain series, especially if it's just myself for binge watching. But very often, I've said this, I do an activity, either crafting or maybe sorting something out, doing paperwork or something, while I've got that sort of thing on. Again, I keep saying this, I'm gonna have to stop this video. Don't know whether I'll split it or not, but I think even if I leave it as a whole video, you can split it yourselves and maybe watch just it in sort of increments. But hopefully I've filled in a few of the ideas that's coming up. But as I said, the main thing is write things down. You know, queen of notes here, write things down. It just releases your brain a bit, do you know what I mean? I do tend to, especially when it gets to this sort of time of year, closer to Christmas, I have pad and pen everywhere near enough, so I can just jot things down, you know, if I think about them and think, well, it's on the paper, I can check that later or whatever, but I only have them in certain places so I know where they are. Right, I'm definitely going this time, so hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Sorry if I ranted on. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.